Okay, today I'm gonna do some more of what I started yesterday. I don't really remember where I left off, so I'm pretty sure I just quit the turno, so I'll basically start there, but y'all know how this works. I will wander and go from one place to another, not in any certain order. My videos are usually random, and they eventually tell a story, but it takes a little while to get where I'm going. So this is my attempt today at getting to my NDE, but got a ways to go. So work with me. I will get to it as soon as possible, but I promise you it will be worth the wait. Anyway, I received a comment from I believe it was a new subscriber. I put a pretty decent reply. If y'all will comment on my videos, I will answer everything. If you ask me something, I will give you an answer. I get very excited when I get a comment because it's not very often, and anything likes, shares, all of it makes my day, but doesn't happen very often. But every time you do anything like that, it helps the analytics and helps the algorithm to get my video out to more people. So I truly appreciate anything that helps me to get my story out to more people, because it's important to me to spread God's word, and I feel like my story has become God's word because everything I do is meant to serve Him. Anyway, here we go. Let me get ready. Y'all know I'm gonna cry before it's over. So I got to be ready. Already feel like it could come anytime now. Since my stroke, I've cried more than I've ever dreamed of anybody crying. But before my stroke, I never laughed, I never cried. Well, never laughed unless I was being mean or something, but them days are over. I'm not that same person. I'm a different person, but I'll explain that in a minute. Well, as soon as I get to it, but it might be a little bit. But anyway, I just enjoy talking and making these videos because I feel like it might help somebody to know where their life is headed and how wonderful it's going to be in the end. So I guess I'll get started. After Toronto, I left there, and I went back to being a union carpenter, scaffold builder. I was the paper mill for a while, and after that I moved to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Y'all know I lost my teeth because of cancer. The radiation treatment destroyed my teeth. I had a beautiful set of teeth, but that's gone. So as soon as I get to Europe, I'm gonna go to a dentist and get the remaining little bit of teeth I have left removed and have a set of false teeth made for me, or maybe get implants if it's not too expensive. But anyway, just trying to explain why I can't talk very well, but I will be able to soon. Right now I live in Nepal. I love it here. I wish I'd never have to leave, but the way the visa program here works, I'm gonna have to leave soon. So anyway, I'll go to I'm planning to go to Albania in Europe because it's a really interesting country to me. Looks like it's going to be a wonderful experience and not too expensive because I'm on disability, obviously. So I can't afford to live in expensive countries like England, Europe, France, Germany. They're too expensive for me. I've been there before, so I was in Germany for a little bit. I was in charge of a trip to go. We're deploying a classified email system around the world at every military site in the world. And the office I worked out of was a small office that was servicing the entire world. And I was the technical expert for all of Europe. And anyway, so I went on a trip to Germany to go set up a classroom and teach. They sent 2 representatives from each base in Europe to our site, and me and 2 other guys that were under me taught everybody involved in the program how to set their equipment up at their site. And we gave them their servers in the classroom, and they unboxed them, and they actually worked on their equipment that was going to be their equipment at their bases. And once the class finished, their servers had the software and had most of the inputs that needed to be in them because we taught them how to do it in the classroom, and they input their own local information that they were going to use. And once we finished the class with each class that come through there, they would box their equipment back up and take it with them back to their base. And they would get back to their base, and using the information we had taught them, they would set their servers up and come online, and they would have the equipment that was approved for sending classified emails over the internet, because we had a way of encrypting the emails that it couldn't be broken. I mean, we could send anything through unclassified internet, and it was completely safe during the transmission, and was only decrypted, and the information was readable after it was on the local server, because there was something called a public key and a private key. And the public key was the algorithm that encrypted the email based on a mix of that key that was on the server that was would release and receive the information, but there was also a private key which was a small, basically it was called a Portesa card, but it was a card that held information that would mix with the public key. It was a private key, but it mixed with the public key, and there was a combination of both of them that actually made it work. And the private key was in the person's pocket, so it was safe. So there was no way for anybody to intercept the information and decrypt it, because they had to have a valid private key, and those were strictly controlled. So it was a very safe system. Anyway, enough about that. That's another lifetime. So went there, taught the class in Germany. We traveled around. We went to Luxembourg, beautiful country, loved it. Good morning. I remember walking around Luxembourg thinking that was the cleanest country. It's now considered the richest country in the world, and it's clean enough that you believe it. When you're there, it's so clean. I mean, so nice. The buildings are ancient and beautiful, and the people are nice as they could be. Anyway, I remember getting they had street vendors that were selling food, and there was one guy. He had rollers with the sausages on there, and you basically buy a sausage. And I went there and I was like, I want one of those. And he gave me one. They give you a little biscuit, and they hold it on one end of the sausage. You have this big old long sausage, a little biscuit on the end so you can hold it. And the guys I was with made fun of it, but it was good. That was the best sausage I ever had. Anyway, I haven't cussed yet, but I'm gonna tell y'all before I even get started, I cuss a lot. I mean, it's a bad habit, but I try to keep it to a minimum, or I tried to quit for a little while, but it's not for any reasons like people say it's a sin or whatever. It's not a sin. It's just words. It's just man-made rules that are bullshit. That's the church trying to control everything and trying to say you're seeing this and seeing that. You need to change, and you need to give your money to the church for them to help you absolve yourself. Anyway, you don't need to give them your money. You need to make them go away and leave you alone, because you don't need the church to go to heaven. I promise you. I was the last person I would think would ever qualify to get into heaven, and I went. So if I went, everybody goes, which everybody goes, and I will explain that too in a little bit. But there's lots of things that the church created and started telling lies like they're the gospel, and it's all man-made concepts to enrich the church. That's why the Catholic Church is the largest real estate owner in the world, and one of the richest businesses in the world. It's a business, not a religion. I mean, Catholic churches, they've been throughout history have been one of the biggest problems, I guess you'd say. They have killed more people than almost anybody. During the Crusades, millions of people died. The only religion, cult, whatever you call it, that's maybe killed more is the Muslims. That's not a religion, that's a cult. But anyway, that's my opinion. That's not fact, that's just my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. Anyway, you know what people say about opinions? We all have one, and they all think. So anyway, mine's no different than anybody else's. You can say what you want to say. You can have your own opinion. Everybody, I welcome any opinions. I listen. I consider. You may change my mind. You may not. More than likely, you're not, because at one time my opinions were really worthless. I mean, they were just opinions, but after I died and went to heaven, now they're based in what I have feelings about, what I've been, well, not told. I didn't see anybody, but I learned through basically osmosis, you'd say. But now my opinions are based on what I understand through my trip to heaven and back. I got a round trip ticket and only wanted a one-way, so now I'll get a one-way ticket again one day. Who knows when, but I'm going home and I'm not coming back. Y'all can keep this bullshit down here because I don't want it. I'm ready to go back home. You know, my mouth waters excessively because the radiation and chemo treatment for my cancer. I had stage 4 cancer. I had a big tumor right there. But I was cut from my Adam's apple. That's a scar going around. From my Adam's apple all the way onto my spine. And the guy not only removed the tumor, but he removed muscle and all kinds of stuff. He went into my throat, damaged my vocal cords, which makes it hard to talk. And he was just being a jerk. Anyway, Dr. Minode Annan, I think his name was. He's a good surgeon, but he's not a nice person. He is an asshole. And I'll tell him to his face if I ever see him again, because he disfigured me. Look at this side compared to that side. This side, they should both be like this, but because of him being a jerk, he removed lots of muscle just to disfigure me because he was angry because I took his medical assistant from him and made her my wife. Anyway, she was a sweet little girl. I miss her sometimes, well, every now and then, but most of the time I don't miss anything. She was a little short redhead, a firecracker. Something else, she was fun to be around until you irritated her, and she was not fun to be around then, but that's life, that's how things work. So anyway, I forget where I was going. Hang on. The landlord's mother is messing with things. She's moving my door and she turned the water pump on, or turned it off, I mean. Every day you turn the water pump on so that you have water in the tanks on the roof, so you have pressure to push water to the apartments. And Nepal is very different. There's no public water access, there's just water. Trucks that come around and they pump water in a big old, like, you know, the big sewer clean out trucks that vacuum out septic tanks. They look like that, but they're not like, they're not doing what those trucks do. These trucks have, and then big hoses are pumping water out, clean, drinkable water. They pump it into the tanks. Every house, every building has a big tank in the ground underneath it that holds water, and they pump them with water pretty often. And every day the pump in the mechanical room in the building gets turned on to pump water up to the, like, 1,000-liter tanks that hold water on the roof. And that creates the pressure to push water to the sinks and the shower and whatever. Anyway, you don't drink it, but you have the big, like, Kentwood 5-gallon bottled waters, but it's not Kentwood here. I mean, it's whatever local brands, but we have a truck that comes by every day, and he delivers water. If you need water, you purchase a bottle. It's like 40 cents for a 5-gallon bottle of good Kent water. I mean, pure spring water from the Himalayan mountains, I imagine. Everything around here is from the Himalayas because I can see the mountains right now I can see mountains back there. I can see bananas on a banana tree in the yard next to me. There's a called Fishtail Mountain right back there. I can go look at that peak. It's like many thousands of feet above anything around it, but Fishtail Mountain is known worldwide. Anyway, I live in the middle of the most beautiful country in the world. And I'm in a city that, if you come to Nepal, everybody knows about Kathmandu, but fuck Kathmandu. Pokhara is the place to be, where everybody wants to be. And I'm in the little area that tourists want to be in. The lake here, called Fewa Lake, is where you want to be in Nepal. And I'm about 1 minute from one place where you can go down and get in a little boats or rafts or whatever and play in the lake or do whatever. But anyway, I am right there. I have a very large 2-bedroom apartment. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a living room, a large dining room, a nice kitchen, fully furnished, all utilities for less than $300 a month. You could not touch that in America. That's the reason I'm doing so well here, is because everything is so cheap. That's why the 5-gallon bottle of water is, 40 cents. My groceries, my caregiver and I go probably once a week, and we go to, everything is, you go to different shops when you're here. Like if you want cheese, you go to a cheese shop. If you want meat, you would go to a meat shop. There's no milk made from cow's milk. Everything is either yak milk or goat milk. It's different, but it's good. I like it. Like cows, or anything that comes from a cow, is considered sacred because cows are sacred in Hindu religion. It's a Hindu country, which I respect their beliefs, but I don't believe cows are sacred, but they're beautiful animals either way. We always, there's 2 cows, a mother and I guess a yearling or whatever. He is not very big, but the mother she's kind of small too. And there's another female, she's large. She comes to her now and then, but they wander up and down our street. They come, and she looks in the gate. Sometimes she comes in and wanders around eating everything, and the owner tries to keep her out because she gets into his little area. He has some corn and some beans planted. It's basically my backyard is his front yard, and she comes and takes his corn, so he doesn't like it. So he tries to keep the gate shut so her and her baby doesn't come in and forage through and eat the flowers, eat the vegetables and whatever. But anyway, it's fun here. I took a trip to Kathmandu and back last weekend, and on the way back I saw a herd of like 10, maybe 15 cows on what you call a highway in America, but here it's not a highway. It's a suggestion. the traffic here in Nepal is it's a wild west of driving. I mean, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen, but it works here, works well. I mean, I got bumped by a car and by a motorcycle the other day. I drive my wheelchair on the road every day, and I got hit by a car and a motorcycle. But that's the first time that's happened since I've been here. But I guess I must have been having a bad day and driving bad or whatever. I'm not sure, but they didn't do any damage. Nothing you'll know. But anyway, the car kind of scraped a little bit on one armrest, but that's it. The motorcycle, he just bumped me, and it surprised him as much as me because he got too close. They're always staring because I guess I have the only electric wheelchair in the country because everybody never stops looking at me until they can't see me. They stare like it is the weirdest thing they've ever seen in their life. And it may be, but I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of rude. I mean, adults should know better than staring the way they do, but they don't care. I just go by like they're not staring most of the time, but sometimes I stare back and try to make them like uncomfortable to understand that they're making me uncomfortable because it's just rude. Anyway, I never got back to radiation and the chemo. They said that the treatment would possibly cause me to have a dry mouth for the rest of my life. That was a lie. My saliva glands are overactive to the point that I'm drowning all day, all night. I sleep with a rag under like, I lay a rag down, I lay my face on the rag because, I mean, as embarrassing as it is to say, I drool because there is so much I can't control it all. And I got a few teeth pulled last year from a place that, well, I'll say later, but anyway, the dentist told me that because of what she was doing, that she may cause my corner of my mouth to leak. She wasn't lying. It leaks now, but anyway, that's why I'm always wiping my mouth, is because I've got so much saliva, I have trouble keeping it all in. Sometimes I yawn and just drool everywhere. I mean, it's so embarrassing, but I mean, I don't really get embarrassed, but I know what should be embarrassing, and I say it's embarrassing, but I don't get embarrassed anymore. My entire life I had insecurities like you couldn't believe. I was embarrassed by everything I ever did, ever said. I would not, if there was two people, I was embarrassed. Like, that was like public speaking for me. I was scared of everything. My whole life I was embarrassed and scared and insecure about myself to the point that it basically, for lack of a better word, I was paralyzed by my insecurities. I wouldn't talk and do things. If there was maybe one person, but definitely there was two or more, you can bet I wasn't gonna do shit. Cause I would turn red. If you looked at me, I would turn red. It was so horrible. But anyway, now I couldn't care less. I mean, I say and do anything. If I can never sing a day in my life in front of another person, I love to sing with the radio, but if there was another person in the car, never. I never sang, I never did shit if there was anybody around, but now I couldn't care less. I mean, you could let there be 1 million people now right here, and I'd sing if I wanted to. I'd say what I want to. I don't care. I mean, I just do and say whatever hits me. It's if I think it, I'm gonna say it, and it's sometimes a bit inappropriate, but that's me. I mean, same way with cuss words. I mean, for a long time I viewed cuss words as a sin like everybody else, but it's not. They're just words, man-made words, man-made lies about words being sins. How you use the words, if you use them to hurt people, that's a sin, but the word itself is never a sin. So say what you want to, just don't say it to hurt anybody, and you're good. That's kind of how the whole deal works. Is you're here to learn, to experience, and to love everybody, everything, and go back home with your learned experiences as a way to enlighten your soul so that you, I guess, become a better spirit or whatever. But anyway, so I'm I'm definitely learning new experiences. I mean, we agree to our path here, our lifetime. Before we ever come here, we have everything planned from day one to the day we go home. So I plan to be paralyzed, plan to have cancer, plan to die from aneurysm, plan to have a really shitty life. And the harder it is, the more experience you gain, the more it benefits you. So I guess I'm getting a lot of benefits. Because I have set myself up for a really, really shitty life that hopefully will benefit me in the end, but who knows? I'll know, but I picked a hard one, that's for damn sure. So, anyway, I forget what I was talking about. Anyway, I left the tunnel and became a scaffold builder again. I used to be scared of heights, but I took a job. I started building scaffolds, which requires you to climb it really high, really, really high places, and not have anything around you to make you feel safe. And I was scared to death when I started, but I mean, you get me 8-10 foot off the ground, I'd be holding on to everything I could grab. But I finally learned, if you're gonna fall, you're just gonna die or you're gonna hurt, and that's the way it is. So I got over being scared of heights. I started volunteering. The harder a scaffold was, and the more dangerous it was, the more I wanted to be the person to be out there, because I figured if I was the one out there, I would be hurt, not somebody else be hurt. So even when I was a sociopath, I cared about people, I guess you'd say. Even though I wanted to kill everybody, I cared about them. It's weird. There's no explaining how the human brain works, but it works. So anyway, I worked at the paper plant. I left Letourneau and I went to a paper plant, and I worked there for a little bit, and then I moved to Hattiesburg. Not a good situation. I ended up moving back pretty quick because the person I moved there with was not who they said they were. I mean, here's a woman who when the church doors opened, she was in there. But that's because she was feeling guilty about the way she acted. She was a mean, yelling, cussing. If she wasn't at church, she was yelling, cussing, and being mean to everybody around her. I mean, she was evil. I had a hard time with lots of things for years after her because I left there and probably 5 years later, she was still trying to ruin my life, and she did in some ways. But anyway, that's over. But if you ever see Donna Walker, tell that bitch I said fuck you. Anyway, that's the way things are. She caused me enough problems that I will never forget to remind to dislike her. Anyway. Well, I skip forward some, I guess. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Birds are just waking up. I don't sleep, so I've been laying there all night watching videos, watching Trump screw up the deal with Iran, watching the stories about that whole mess. Trump has made a mess and won't finish it, won't clean it up, he's scared to finish what he started. So, in my opinion, I was a big Trump supporter, but now, not so much. I mean, now I see Trump as a little bitch, scared of his own shadow, scared to finish what he started. It's like he did something now, he's fucking scared to deal with what he did. So he's gonna get a lot of people killed because he's letting Iran control how everything goes. Anyway, this is not a political channel, so we'll leave that shit alone. I'm very opinionated when it comes to politics because I love my country. And anybody who does anything to hurt my country, like Trump right now, is not my friend. And I'm not scared to say it to their face. If I ever see him, I will tell him he's a dumbass and he's screwing things up, and he needs to pull his head out of his ass and finish what he started before he gets a lot of people killed, letting Iran rearm, and he's probably going to let them get a damn nuclear weapon, which will be horrible for Israel. Anyway. What the fuck? Oh, I don't sleep anymore. I don't sleep. Let's just jump to the NDE. I know I've been saying I was going to do it. My hair is growing back a little bit. A little thin in both those spots, but I caused that with steroids, so that's my fault. I had a head full of hair, so it's thin on the top now because of the steroids. But anyway, I was in my living room, me and my middle daughter, Winter, and I was enjoying my medicine like I normally do, and I just smoked some and I was coughing, because back then I didn't know how to cure it the way I do now, so it was kind of harsh, and it made me, I may have been buying it back then, I may not have been going on yet, so it was whatever somebody rushed to sell, so they never cured it correctly because they were in a hurry to make the money. So anyway, I think I bought that, but anyway, I was coughing and a real bad coughing fit. I had one really, really large cough and I heard a pop in my head. You know, your ears hear everything I hear, but they also hear everything in there. So I heard a pop and I was instantly in heaven. A waiting area attached to heaven, really. I call it the white void, but it's basically a area when you're there you can feel and know everything. I was in this, it's like a ocean, galaxy, like it was just huge, and you just know it because you know things that you don't know why you know it, but you know it. I could feel there was other people somewhere in there also besides me, but I didn't see anybody. There was this white, fluffy. It's like a solid mist, like fluffy cotton candy, whatever. But it was a solid supporting me. I looked down and I could see my legs, I could see my feet, I could see both my arms and my hands, and I wasn't paralyzed. I was moving my hands, trying to grab the white stuff, and every time you grab it, it disappears. It's strange, but it was like a white, I can't explain, mist or whatever, but it was solid. I was supported. I was basically suspended in this stuff like floating in water, but not water. Can't really say what it was, but it was what it was. But you know, it was white like clouds, but it gave off a light, a white, golden, beautiful light. I can't talk about being there and not crying, but yeah, that light is, God gives off light and love. There's no sun in heaven. The light that lights everything and spreads God's love and peace it comes directly from God, but it comes through everything. I mean, that mist gave off that light, which was God's love. And I promise you'll never feel anything so good, ever. There's nothing better than to feel God's love and know that you're that close to God. So, anyway, I'm not sure how long I was there. I'm not sure how long I was dead, but I coughed, and as soon as I heard that pop, it was like, pop. I was dead. I mean, my daughter was in the room with me, and she didn't realize I had died. So I couldn't have been dead too long, but I now believe I went to heaven because I was removed from my body because there was going to be some extremely drastic changes made to who I was and made to who I was and what well, different things about me were definitely changed. I was born without a conscience. I was a sociopath and I had no conscience. I was very dangerous. I didn't have anything inside me that told me don't do cool things. I didn't have any kind of controls because I had no conscience. I had a soul that I had spent 55 years fighting urges, and I was going through extreme depression and suicidal thoughts since my stroke, and I was a mess. But my soul had gotten so tired it was giving up and it was going to let me kill myself. Actually, a month before I died, I took a bottle of blood pressure pills because I wanted to die. And Allison, that medical assistant, was my wife. We were separated at the time, but she was coming by every day, basically cheating on her boyfriend that she left me for. And I had no problem letting him know what she knew. I was trying to contact that asshole so I could tell him what was going on, because I wanted to hurt him the way they had hurt me. But she finally one day, she was standing in front of me. I said, that's enough of this bullshit. You need to make a decision, me or him. And she said, well, I had to pick him. So I was like, well, fuck you. And I grabbed a bottle of blood pressure pills, and I took the whole bottle before she could stop me. And anyway, blood pressure pills kill you pretty quick. I've seen somebody do it. That's the reason I had the idea, was I'd watch an ex-wife do it. Anyway, I had an ex-wife named Dana, a crazy bitch. That bitch was crazy as fuck. I had her committed to the state mental hospital because she was really insane. I mean, she had eventually diagnosed with borderline personality and whatever, but she was crazy, fucking bipolar, extreme bipolar, borderline personality disorder, you name it, she had it. And she was alcoholic and had an extreme addiction to pain pills. Anyway, one day she was in there, I was outside working, and I came in to get something. I walked in the bedroom and I walked through. She's sitting on the bed. She just bitch about something. She always bitch about something. So I was like, whatever, just leave me alone. I'm busy. So I went to the bathroom. I got something out there, and I come back into the bedroom, and she said, I got this. She showed me a handful of blood pressure pills, and she said, I'm gonna die today. And she popped in the mouth before I could stop her. And I was like, well, she just took, it looked like around 25, 26 pills. So I called 911 and told them, I was like, she claims she already took some pills. I don't know, but I know what she did take because I watched her. And while I was on the phone with 911, she passed out. It was quick, less than 2 minutes, and the ambulance got there pretty quick, and they come in. I picked her up and carried her in the living room to save them from trying to get a damn gurney down my hallway, because it's a narrow hallway. Would have wasted a lot of time pulling that shit, because they won't just pick the person up and move the person. They want to bring that damn bed everywhere they go. I'm not sure why, but I picked her up and carried her in the living room and put her on the couch so she was near the front door to save time. And they came and they got her, and later on I was told that me taking her into the living room and putting her near the door saved enough time that I probably saved her life. Anyway, she died several times, like 3 times on the way to the hospital. And Dr. Flowers was the doctor in the emergency room who saved her life. And he got her in there. He said she was the worst person, was gone worse than anybody had ever been able to save. And he told her, do it again and it's not gonna work out for you. But he told her, I mean, even now I think she has a hard time regulating her blood pressure because she fucked something up pretty good. But not that she was ever normal, but now she's farther from normal for reasons other than mental issues. But she has health problems because of what she did to herself. Anyway, that's her own fault. We all deal with our bullshit, don't we? Anyway, so I got the idea from watching her. I was like, damn, she just went to sleep and died. That's easy and painless, and she didn't seem to be in any pain. I mean, it knocked her out and she was gone. So I was like, that works for me. So I took a bottle of probably, I believe it was close to 60 pills because it was a new prescription and I hadn't taken but a couple of pills out the bottle, so it was a lot of pills. And I put them out and chewed them up, and they're kind of sweet. They're good, but anyway, I don't recommend it. Anyway, they're good. They're sweet. Anyway, well, the ones I take are, but anyway. Who knows what the others are like. They might taste like ass, but not that well, it's personal. Anyway, everybody's got their own things that they do and what they experience, and that's your business. So anyway, I tend to say a little too much sometimes because I've got no filters now. And I don't get embarrassed by anything I say. I'm gay by choice now. And that's something for a little bit later or maybe another video, but I've discovered that I like things that I would never think that I liked, but I knew my whole life I thought I was probably bisexual because I looked at men in a way that most men probably don't, but I didn't know for sure. But anyway, I never acted on it until at 55, I decided that American women had become so fucking crazy and delusional that I was gonna stop dating women and become gay. So I became gay by choice. I'm not gay, but I'm gay by choice. There's a big difference. I mean, I still look at women because God created women to attract men, and they are definitely beautiful, and I can't help but look and I think, and I have thoughts I shouldn't have, but it is what it is. I mean, God made them to do what they do, and He made me to like what they do, and I like looking at them, but I don't want one. Never want one again. But I love looking at women. Women are beautiful. So, anyway, I became gay by choice at 55 years old. That's kind of old to be deciding you're gay, but I am. I mean, once I made that decision, I knew that I needed to actually be with a man to know whether I could actually perform the way a person needs to perform in a relationship. So I went and I found a cross-dresser. I mean, he was small because I like petite. He was not pretty, but okay. I mean, he had a thicker beard than me. His beard was like this, short. He had like a, not a 5 o'clock shadow, but a 7-day shadow. And I remember the first time I give him directions to my house and decided I needed to find out whether I could perform during a homosexual relationship or not, whether it would bother me or whether I could do what I needed to do to make me and that person happy and be okay with it. I mean, mentally okay with it. Because you don't know what you're capable of doing and living with what unless you try it. So I decided I'd try it. I mean, I'm not a person who is scared to do whatever to see how I react. And so he came and we spent a few days at my house, and there's not much of anything that we didn't do. I mean, there's no need to go into detail, y'all can imagine, but I loved it. I found out that I should have made this decision a long time ago. I should have never been heterosexual because I enjoy a relationship with a man more than a woman, because now I believe that you can have a conversation with a man or you can have an argument with a woman. In a 10-minute period, you can have a good, logical conversation with a man, or you can have 3 arguments with a woman and have her slam the door and be gone. So, women are crazy. And in America, they're worse than anywhere I've ever been. But I've got a caregiver that's putting in a good effort to imitate an American female. So she aggravates me to no end. I mean, I don't like her, but I love her. I mean, it's a, people talk about a love-hate relationship. Well, I'm certainly in the middle of one right now with my caregiver. But anyway, she's a fairly attractive Nepali woman who is delusional to a point of she wanted me to pay off her. She had failed to pay her rent for 5 months when she started working for me. And the very first day I met her, she asked me to pay her 5 months of back rent. And I was like, hell no, I don't even know your ass. I'm not paying shit because I don't know you, I don't know whether you'll be around or not. And I paid her for a month of being a caregiver up front, and she left after a week. So since then, I don't trust her. She's done that twice. Anyway, she left, but she came back eventually, but she's done that 2 times, so I don't trust her. Anyway, I don't even remember where that was going. Let me get some coffee. I'm approaching an hour, so I may close this soon and start another video in a little bit, because I don't like to make each video longer than an hour because it takes a long time to upload, and I imagine people get bored if I make them too long. I don't know, but I watch them from end to end. I'm entertained by me. I'm a funny motherfucker. Well, to me anyway. But I get my sense of humor. I say things that entertain me a lot of times. I hope it entertains y'all, but it definitely entertains me, which is kind of my goal is to be happy. So if I say something that makes me smile, makes me happy, I'm good. Who the fuck is that? Good morning. A dog? I haven't seen one. No. Well, random guy walking on the street looking for a brown dog. Who knows? In Nepal, you'll see everything. You sit in one place long enough. But that's pretty much the whole world. But here is more entertaining because they do stuff different, and a lot of it just makes me laugh or smile. It's very entertaining to be in Nepal. I'm about to, about to spit it up. I started laughing because I'm thinking funny ways that make me laugh. I mean, I entertain myself all the time between the way I think and the things I say. I never know what's going to come out till it comes out, and sometimes I just, to myself, I'm hilarious. I laugh and laugh, but it may not be funny to anybody but me, but as long as I enjoy it, it's good. But that warm coffee helps me talk. Makes my mouth water, but helps me talk. You know, oddly enough, as much saliva as my mouth produces, my throat gets dry. It's weird. That's bad. They keep the gate shut basically to contain me at nighttime, because I'll go and wander the streets at night, like 2 in the morning. I love to go out because you see a different type of people at 2 in the morning than you do during the daytime, and I love watching people, especially the females. I mean, this country is so full of beautiful women. You can't see them all fast enough to get it all in. I mean, these women are gorgeous. I've never seen so many beautiful women in my lifetime, but I love it here. But I don't want a female, but I love looking, and here I've got so many choices to look at. Yeah, Lord. But the men are pretty too. And Nepal is, I'm close to India, so real close. Pokhara is not very, but maybe an hour from the India border. I'm not sure, but on the map it looks like it's a short drive. Anyway, Indians come across here, and they come to Pokhara to celebrate whatever holidays. Hindus have like 1 billion holidays. I mean, I know it's not 1 billion days during the year, but they have 1 billion holidays. Anyway, way too many Indians coming to Nepal, but that's none of my business. But there are several Indian men that are just gorgeous. I made two of them my boyfriends for a short time, but they don't seem to want to cooperate with the program, so I'll break up with them. Right now, I'm single, and I'm happy being single. That's another after effect of my NDE. Anyway, back to the NDE. Oh, goodness, I get bad heartburn. I mean, everything's not. I wasn't cured of everything. I get heartburn, but that's about it. Don't get any negative mental bullshit anymore. No depression, no suicidal, whatever. I'm not a sociopath anymore, which that's an incurable disease. I was a psychopath and a sociopath. I was extremely dangerous. But now it's all gone. I actually don't kill most insects, even though they come to the house and go into everything and whatever. I just transplant them back outside or whatever, or either just let them do their business, because they deserve to do their thing as much as I do. I'm an insect on this world, just like they're insects in my house. So it is what it is. Little kittens. He just ran by here. That's the first time I've ever seen him wander outside the gate by himself. But anyway, I died, went to the white void, and I remember being in the white void. I had both my hands out like this, and I was grabbing the white puppy shit, and I couldn't grab it because it disappears as quick as you do this. It's gone. I mean, it's solid until you grab it, and whenever you grab it, it's not solid no more. It goes away instantly. So I remember saying, I don't know if it was out loud or not, but I said, "What the fuck is this?" I said it twice. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I was trying to grab it, but anyway. Like I said, cussing's not a sin, so use my words in heaven. I mean, it's not something to be proud of, but it is. It happened, and it is what it is. You know, when you have NDE, you can see it years later, like it's happening right now. I mean, I can see my body, and I can see the void, and I can feel and, hear and feel and everything just like I was there again. It never gets fuzzy. The memory stays as sharp as when it happened. Actually, you remember things that you didn't realize at the time, so it gets better over time, really. Mine definitely got better, but I'll explain that in a second. So I was there, like, hanging out in the white fluffy stuff, and just remember looking and being amazed by it. And I remember feeling the love and the peace coming coming out of everything. The light that it gave off was just nothing but pure love. I mean, there is no explaining how wonderful it feels, but I've tried, you just can't. So, believe me, you 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 will love being there. I promise. Anyway, I'm not sure how long I was there, but I could feel you just feel and you know things that you don't know why. I could feel other people. And it might have been 100 yards, a billion miles, but I knew that they were there. I wasn't the only one, which, you know, you're never the only one. But, you know, while you're there, that you're God's favorite. Everybody's God's favorite. That's just the way it works. God has infinite love to share with everybody, so everybody is God's favorite. So yeah, just remember you're God's favorite. Anyway, it's an hour and 11 minutes, so I'm gonna go, but I'll be back in a little bit to do another video to go through the rest of or attempt to go through the rest of my experience. But it gets better. It gets much better. Anyway, y'all love everybody because God wants you to. I love y'all. Bye.